You're Perp back with another video and just got done watching the season finale of American Horror Stories. The miniseries, it's also the spinoff to American Horror Story, which I am looking forward to season 10. I'm a little skeptical and worried just after seeing this. This is going to be a rant more so than a review, but I do want to kind of get into what this finale was about and why this series I have an issue with overall. Let's start with what this episode's about. We're back at Murder House, or that's what it kind of seems like. Ends up being this like virtual game, this video game, whatever you want to call it. Which that whole aspect would have been cool. I honestly like what they did with certain aspects of Murder House. I just wish we got this in the first episode. The whole Scarlet and Ruby thing has just been completely played out at this point, and I don't even think those characters are just not likable. They're not like the OG Murder House cast, which that would have been dope to see, Evan Peters come back and all the alumni come back, and even Jessica Lange. That would have made this really stand out for me. We only got one OG. That was Dylan McDermott. I think that's what his name was. I forget. Even he was kind of like, it just, you have this mom that has this son that is obsessed with American Horror Story, and they really break the fourth wall with this episode, referencing other seasons and stuff like that, trying to be really clever. I hate when shows try to be really clever and show and tell you, the audience, that, see, this is what we really meant to do by going back to Murder House. No, that is just lazy. And this is where things kind of take a turn for me with this series, and makes me kind of worried about season 10. Going back to Murder House, you had 7 episodes. 7 episodes. 3 of those are about Murder House. Are you serious? Can you milk this anymore? We milked it. It made more sense in Apocalypse because that was kind of tying everything together. This American Horror Stories, it's just very lazy, man. It's just, I don't care about none of these new characters. Like I said, the whole Ruby and Scarlet thing is just, it's just way forced. And I just think the overuse of Murder House is starting to lose its flair. It's starting to lose its uniqueness. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't become a wow thing. When it first happened, it was like a wow thing. Like, damn, you die here, you stay here for good. Now it just becomes kind of like a joke. And I hate that they did this because, like I said, you give us 7 episodes, 3 of those being about Murder House. Episode 6 we got last week was actually pretty decent. I still think that was the best one out of all that we got. The drive-in one was okay, but the execution kind of fell off. The rest was trash, so it's mediocre at best. We really don't need a series like this. If they do have a season 2 of this, hopefully they listen to the criticism and just do more unique stories. Stop relying on like Coven and these popular ones. Make new popular ones. That's kind of where I think American Horror Story is going to end up, kind of like writing itself into a circle at this point. I want to wait to see what they do with double feature, because it kind of seems like they're going back to their roots with the horror, and just, it's a little bit more serious in tone. So I don't know, I just wasn't feeling this episode. Like, I will say this finale was a semi better episode than what we got in the first 2 with the Murder House things. I just think it was just doing too much, doing way too much. You're kind of losing the mystique, like I said, of these different Murder House characters, and just the overabundance of just killing people just to kill them. The characters in this are just completely moronic, stupid. Like, once the kid just runs off, the kid is annoying in this. Even though he does something that somebody should have done in the very first season, or probably in season 8, is burn down Murder House, he just talks back to his mom and treats her like shit. I'm like, bro, if you don't smack this kid, and this leads, for some odd reason, for the mom to go down the rabbit hole and watch all 9 seasons, which is, it's just, I don't know, it was fucking weird. And then she ends up going to Murder House, which, oh my God, it's just, everybody that goes to Murder House is an idiot, bro. You hear all the stories, you hear all this, people just ignore it and just go into the house. It's dumb at this point. It's really fucking dumb at this point. I don't know much else to say about this. It's just, we really didn't need this series if they were going to go this route. It just feels like a bunch of just throwaways, but also kind of hurting other established seasons. You know, instead of just capitalizing and just making brand new stories or something like that, why not just rip off like Child's Play and make like a killer doll or something like that? That would have been cool. But no, they just have to go back to Murder House because that's the safe bet. That's playing it safe. That's the best way I could possibly say this. I really feel like Ryan Murphy had nothing to do with his writing. I don't know. I didn't really pay attention to credits, but if season 10 is anything like stories, it's going to be a long season, man. I think he just really needs to tighten up with these stories and just make them compelling again, because the first 2 seasons are the most compelling. It's the most horror story, the most American Horror Story-esque compared to everything else that's come out after. This is definitely by far the worst thing that has come out of American Horror Story. But that's all I got to say about this. I don't want to talk about this anymore. I will see y'all for season 10. I think that starts next week. So I will see y'all in the next video. Peace.